What's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday. You know what that means. Show Me the Money Club, live Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Sergio, what's going on?
Vamos! I don't know. I'm in the World Cup mood, so yeah, there you go.
Oh, you are. Unfortunately, U.S. lost, so
Yeah,
no
that's
reason to watch
typical.
anymore, really. But but I'm sure it's probably pretty good for you. So that's always good to hear. But with that being said, we do got a big show for you coming up. So let's get right into it. What we're going to be talking about today. First off, we do have a special guest coming on, Derek Kravitz of Consumer Reports. We talked about the Consumer Reports report that came out very recently, talking about the Uber and Lyft pricing. So we have him on to talk about that, their test, and everything when it comes to what the shady stuff is going on there. There's no rapid fire rundown again today. Kind of slow news. I mean, there's some news that trickled out on a couple of things in like Europe and Uber, and not really worrying about food delivery and stuff like that. And other than that, it's kind of late. So we're going to skip that. We're going to go right into our actual rundown. And so we're going to be talking about Uber's insurance can vary widely for the similar rides. This is something that Len Sherman had gone into with a driver in Syracuse, Ithaca area. You may know, but with that being said, we're going to be talking about some of the craziness that he's found over the course of following this particular driver. And then we're going to be talking about insurance rates are down, but are drivers actually benefiting like they had said? And then we're going to go into 4th of July weekend. Did you make some money? Some drivers did, so we're going to share that. But we want to know: did you make money? Throw Sergio a couple emails showing if you did. And then we're going to go to accepted a ride that disappeared. What's going on there, and how you can kind of avoid that kind of situation. And then we're going to be talking about Uber blocking screenshots now, completely blacked out. And then why did Sergio buy Lyft stock? Good question. Uber driver earnings security review. So you're waiting for your money to come in, and then all of a sudden, where is it? What's going on? You get a thing that says there's a security review. You're not getting your money until next week. How many people is that going to piss off? So we're going to be talking about that. And then DK is all about making everyday life better. I mean, I like doing that too, but we'll have to see what he has to say.
That's what she said.
So, yeah. Well, either way, we do have our guest Derek coming on, so we're going to bring him on right now. Derek, thank you for coming on.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Derek, the man of the hour, the viral. Wow, Derek, I don't know if you guys expected it to go as viral as it did, but it certainly did. It was on every single channel and print media and whatever everything. It was. And we covered it too, obviously. So great job. But first, introduce yourself and tell us who and what Consumer Reports is and does.
Sure. So I'm Derek Kravitz. I'm a deputy editor of special projects at Consumer Reports. You probably know Consumer Reports from our auto work over the last 90 years, but a nonprofit headquartered in Yonkers, New York, so upstate from New York City where I live. And we do a lot of testing. So Uber, Lyft, this is right up our alley. We wanted to see if some of the price strategies that we saw that you guys have tested with respect to drivers and More Perfect Union, if we could see some of that on the consumer side. So we spent months investigating this, both doing virtual testing and then also in-person testing with union-affiliated drivers in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah. Okay. So we always said, I mean, we have proven it over and over since we've been doing the show for 4 years. Algorithmic wage discrimination exists. I'm not saying it's discrimination due to race, gender, and any of that stuff, but it does exist, okay? And we've proven it, and now you guys are kind of proving that not wage, but algorithmic discrimination exists actually on the rider side. And so how did you guys what did you guys do to do the test like? What was the test like?
That's a good question. So, and you're having Len Sherman come on later, or maybe speaking to some of his work. Whenever we do testing like this, we did something similar with Instacart. We also did work on Kroger, the grocery chain. And a lot of this work looks very similar in the sense that we, with our statistician, in-house statistician team, and then also outside experts and consultants, we design a methodology, right? And so we try to control for as much as we possibly can and answer like a big question, why do riders see different prices and how big are the differences between, say, the lowest and the highest price groups that you might see for an individual ride. Same methodology we use with Instacart. And so we consulted with, I think, about 8 different subject matter experts, including Len, to sort of design this. Katie Wells was one of our close working partners there. She's with AI Now Institute. And with the virtual testing, what we decided to do was convene as many people as we could get on recorded Zoom video, 33 to 65 people at any given time, and have them basically price out rides at the same time. Before we actually logged on, we had them submit to us demographic and usage intake forms. All that's to say, we had them give us as much information about themselves as we possibly could, with privacy being a component of all of that. So making sure that we delete all this at the end of the testing, but ask them, race, gender, age, where they live, billing zip code, things of that sort, and then usage too. So how they use Uber and Lyft. Is it frequently, infrequently? Because we know behavior and context data is important to these companies, and the patents bear that out. We do a full patent search whenever we do this type of work as well. So we get all these people, in Zooms. We have them price out predetermined routes. We did 30 routes across the country, 15 for Uber, 15 for Lyft. We looked at 17 different states. We looked at urban, rural, cross city, cross county, cross state lines, different times of the day, different days of the week. A lot of this is trying to capture, moments in time, but really, capture many different multiple moments in time to sort of understand the constellation of data out there for rideshare. And then we take all that in, we get all the screenshots back, we analyze that both. We have an automated system and then a human in the loop system. We run, a bunch of different regressions and statistical sort of analyses on all of that data. And then we did the in-person part, because it's not as you can look at algorithmic pricing, in a vacuum and, virtually, but it's really important to see how this plays out, in real life, right? If you're ordering trips and taking them with drivers. So we wanted to do that. We wanted to do that in a place that was somewhat sort of controlled in a unique way, like Portland, with a per minute, per mile sort of traditional taxi rate card system. And we wanted to match, Katie Wells came up with this methodology. We wanted to match volunteer riders with volunteer drivers in the same place at the same time, and then take rides together collectively, with the understanding that there's going to be lots of caveats and limitations here. The potential for creating an artificial surge or demand, or not matching with our group and having to re-request, which happened. Or various other issues, lots of troubleshooting, lots of user error. That's all fine. Like we want to see that user error. We want to take that in, and then exclude those when we can, and then understand the data we're seeing. So when we got all the data back, pretty clear the price variability for Uber and Lyft can be very large. The median was 42.4%. That's a conservative figure between the lowest and the highest price groups that our volunteer riders saw across all 30 routes. And then in person, we were able to use that to develop sort of a take rate percentage, which I know the companies dispute. They have a lot of different reasons for disputing that. We put that in the story as well. We shared all of our data with the companies, stripping out the PII, the person identifiable information. And that take rate percentage was just like what Len and Princeton and others have found, which is in that 43 to 49.5% percentage rate for Uber and Lyft in terms of how much they take from each fare.
Yeah.
And we also found the fake discounts. We found in about 12% of cases, artificially inflated, original prices, strike-throughs, which they don't call discounts, they call historical comparison messaging. And then a new price, and we saw in about 12% of advertised discounts, those were fictitious.
Yeah. Well, there's another thing. I mean, look, you said 42%, by the way. That's for the exact same trip for the exact same distance, right? And that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, that is the
Yeah.
most conservative, and everything we do is the most. I mean, Consumer Reports is an old brand. We want we want to make sure that we're being fair, and we don't want to get sued out of existence. So, in that way, we want to make sure that we do everything by the book, and that's what we did here. And so,
Yeah.
42.4%. It's a conservative number.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, this was about to look. I mean, there's one thing Uber hates the most. Okay, that's bad publicity. That they just hate it, and we do a great job at it, and you guys now, obviously. But when so the results are out, pretty much every channel in the country is running it. They're doing their own testing now, sitting in a room, which I did with CBS LA, and same results and stuff like that.
Okay.
So what did the good folks at Uber and Lyft say about your test? Did they say it's a bunch of bullshit, or what they say?
In a lot of ways, tech companies, and I know rideshare is a different beast and type of industry within tech than say grocery or others, but in many ways tech companies operate very similar to each other across the board. And so when we do corporate outreach, when we share our limited data and our questions to companies, in many cases when we do testing, they ask us a lot of questions first and foremost. And so we went, I think, several weeks of questions from Uber and Lyft about what we did, and we answered those, and then we started asking our own questions, and we probably 4 to 5 rounds of questions, probably 40 to 50. A lot of that information does make it into the story in terms of response. But in short, and this, you've talked about this on this podcast and elsewhere, but in short, both companies say no two rides can ever truly be the same. There's no baseline price. This is second to second prices change, and it's an extremely complex marketplace where supply and demand sort of rule the day. And we do not personalize base prices ever. That's their line, right?
Yeah.
There's an additional element there too that you have to pull out and parse out, which is that they do personalize promotions and discounts, and both companies increasingly use promotions and discounts for all rides, right? And not only do they use promotions and discounts in the strict sense, right? How a reduction of an original price to a new price, but they also have these labels, this historical comparison messaging. Prices are lower right now, or lower, or faster, or cheaper. Informational labels. They don't call those promotions and discounts. We call them that. And when we looked at again all of our 1,100 different rides across all the 30 virtual routes, 50% of them had a promotion or discount that we would define as a promotion or discount attached to them, which means if they're using that more and more, and the data from UNLV and others bears this out, what is a true net price, right? Algorithmic pricing has created a new sort of pricing structure in retail that you can't really rely on one price as the price, right? It's many, many different prices.
Well, there is. I mean, if you look at the history of Uber, which I know probably better than anybody, I'm a driver as well as a rider, by the way, right? I use Uber quite often, and I drive for Uber. And so we had something called a rate card, Derek, meaning just like a cab man, a meter. The meter in the cab, you just turn it on, and that's the meter, dollars, the time and distance. And about 4 years ago, I remember it like today, actually. About 4 years ago, Uber stock was dead in the water after the pandemic. Some brilliant person at Uber came up with this thing called upfront fares for drivers, and rate cards went away. There's no more rate card. So if there was rate card, right, there wouldn't be a discrepancy for the same trip at the same time, at the same distance, at the same duration. There wouldn't be. But now with algorithmic black box algorithms running pricing literally by the millisecond, looking into probably 50 different things that they look into. Now you have the potential of charging as much as you can and paying as little as you can, because there's two separate algorithms that they're running, one for the rider and one for the driver.
Very good point.
And that's when Uber stock went from 23 to 123 in about 4 years. That's when the take rate that they say is still, by the way, oh, it's just 19%, but we're not making more money. I'm like, well, how did you become a free cash flow cow? I'm not even sure, right? And they're throwing around $7 to $10 billion free cash flow every year. But that's the economics of it. That's what I know, and that's what I will always say. So Uber said, to our test, Uber also said not enough sample size. Did they say that to you as well?
They said that they actually didn't point to an issue with the sample size here. 174 volunteers, and that's actually quite small in statistical terms. But a lot of our work is in statistical parlance, participatory action research. So it doesn't have to solve for every equation that we can dream up. It has to answer one question. In this case, why do people get different prices at the same time, the same exact route? And so we, what they did say is that both companies said our methodology was flawed in their view. And more to the point, they said that you can't really test their black boxes externally. That I think Uber came up with an offer for us to do testing with them, with an agreed upon academic institution, and in which they could test with all of their back end sort of view, which includes latency and GPS signal and all of these things that they say that factors into pricing. But we want to, of course, we're Consumer Reports. We want to see the consumer-facing side of it, what real people deal with on a day-to-day basis. And if many of our rides were caught within 6 minutes of each other, but many of them were caught within the same minute.
Yep.
And so that's what we wanted the control for, was time, because we know time is such a big component and element of this. So anyway, that's in short.
That's interesting. They offered you to do the test with you, huh? Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
And one thing I'll just flag there, legal disclaimer, but Consumer Reports doesn't partner with companies to do testing.
Why would you?
We independent nonprofit, even for vehicles. This is a long-running thing. We buy the vehicles. We're not given the vehicles, and then we test the vehicles off the lot. So it's and you have to do that, otherwise the auto manufacturers are going to give you the best possible version of that vehicle. So there's a reason for it. Right?
So full disclosure, Uber is watching this today, so okay.
Probably.
Not probably. I can guarantee they watch every show. And sure. Hey, people at Uber, nice people. So Uber was that. How about Lyft? Lyft, you tested for Lyft as well. Was there a major discrepancy? Because on our test at CBS, Lyft was the bigger discrepancy actually between trips. And the other thing maybe you can talk about is between the pricing between Uber and Lyft, right? Because a lot of riders don't comparison shop, which I always do, because I have both apps. If I'm going to take a ride, if one is cheaper by $5, I'm going to take that one.
Yeah,
because they both do the same thing, point A to point B, right? So what were the findings in that area?
We didn't find much difference between Uber and Lyft in terms of comparison shopping and price differential there. That said, there's been good academic work. I think a 14% reduction in price for Lyft compared to Uber. I saw in one study, I think out of Chicago. But in essence, we saw the same things with Uber and Lyft. And that's why we wanted to look at both companies. This wasn't a go after Uber story or investigation. This was a rideshare investigation. They controlled 95% of the US market. As Len would say, they're a duopoly. So we wanted to go with the biggest market participants. There are others. I'm sure I'm speaking to the CEO of Tada. I think they actually go by a different name now. A Singaporean company that I think has as many as 30,000 signups of New York City drivers, and they have sort of an initial licensure with New York City's Taxi and Limousine Commission. They're promising sort of a flat rate commission model where regardless of the ride, the $3 or $5 goes to the platform and the rest goes to the driver. So I mean, there are others. I was just speaking to someone who invested early in Zimride,
Yeah.
um, years ago, which I guess was a precursor to Lyft. I mean, Via, Israeli company. There are,
Grab.
already,
You're probably talking about Grab from from Asia. There's
Mhm.
another company that's taken a lot of chips from Uber, especially in New York City, Empower, right?
Yes.
Although they're kind of running like a
Yeah.
pirate cab. I'm not sure what's going on there. But okay, so you did the test. The test come out. Uber says what they're going to say. Okay. So what is this going? Like, what's the next? What's next? What are you guys? I mean, is this one and done, or what's happening?
So none of our pricing projects are ever done.
Okay.
Even with Instacart, we looked at them 6-7 months ago, and we're still fielding tips about them. As long as companies, and basically our metric or our framing for why we look at particular industries, and not even just particular companies, but industries, is do they use a lot of algorithmic pricing, and are consumers operating in an information vacuum, or is there transparency to what the prices that they're seeing? And do they find it to be unfair? And when we survey them, we actually have a survey department, and they do statistically significant surveys. They poll 2,000 US adults across the country and ask them these questions. And they carry weight because it's, again, controls for a lot of things and is weighted for demographics. And they find that people do not like algorithmic pricing. They find it difficult to sort of understand and parse out, and they certainly don't like their personal data to be used to dictate personalized pricing, whether that's for base prices or promotions and discounts. So that's why we look at these industries and companies, and we'll continue to do so.
I mean, algorithmic pricing existed way before Uber, right? I mean,
Yeah.
airlines use it. A lot of companies use it. And as you know, there was this, the Wendy's debacle that they were going to use it on hamburgers, and that went like nuts. And then Walmart uses it. Sometimes they have these digital tags changing pricing. I'm like, what is happening in this country? You know what I mean? And I do agree with the consumer. And one reason I think Uber probably hated this as much as they did is because this is rider based, right? So there's about 4.5, 5 million drivers in the country, part-time, full-time, active drivers, but there's about 160 million Uber app users in the country, from food to anything that rideshare and whatever not. And the rider is the golden goose that pays the golden egg. I mean, that lays the golden egg. I mean, it's just, and they're not going to like it. And then if you wake up the consumer saying, wait a minute, why am I getting ripped off? Like, why is this guy sitting next to me paying $5 less than I'm doing it? And that could hurt their business. I think that probably is the reason that they were kind of,
And like one thing to note here, when we do pilot and beta testing, and we talk to the companies too, if for whatever reason we saw, I think in some testing we saw, A/B testing with a few cents difference between, large fare rides, or within 5%, everything sort of being mostly uniform, we probably wouldn't do a large investigation into an industry or company like this. So that's all to say, when you see this degree of variability, that's why, right? That's why Consumer Reports or other places look at that so closely.
Yeah. So I had Jamie Court of Consumer Watchdog on a couple of weeks before your guest spot, and we talked about what they've been kind of going after, which is as soon as, I think the year they went public, they created these captive insurance companies. Both companies have it, by the way, Lyft and Uber. And then for some reason they're in Hawaii. I don't know why. But as drivers, we notice a lot of things here, right? Because my eyes and ears are drivers literally from all over the globe, from Australia, from UK, and all 50 states, all cities. What drivers have noticed is that commercial insurance rates have gone through the roof over the last 4 or 5 years, to the tune of 4x, pretty much. And what are your thoughts about it? Do you have any thoughts about that? That they're kind of moving the money around, and but then on one hand, they're also complaining to legislators to lower commercial insurance rates because they're saying it's 40% of the trip is commercial insurance. what is your thought? Are you
Yeah.
going to do anything about that?
It's an interesting sort of, when we and researchers and others sort of calculate take rate, we include the commercial auto insurance, and when Uber
Well,
and
yeah,
Lyft do, they don't. And
yeah.
there's a different, and we tried to explain that as clearly as we could in the
How do
story.
you explain that? Actually, you know what? That's a good point, because every time I talk to my Uber buddies, they go, Serge, we only take 20% because
Right.
we take out commercial insurance, government, the city taxes, and airport fees, blah, 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 blah. Bro, I understand. But if I'm a driver and I see the receipt, rider paid 100, I made 40, you took 60%. That's all I know.
Yeah, so we put it into three different buckets, and try, again, for a lay audience, like, tried to make that demystified as much as possible. I mean, did we succeed? I'm not sure, but it's very technical stuff, and we went through a lot of SEC reports and consulted with accountants to sort of figure that part out. But in short, you have the platform take, so whatever the platform takes in, regardless of the expenses or where it ends up going internally. Right. So whatever Uber and Lyft take in, whatever the driver takes, separate from tips. Right. And then whatever goes to city or government agencies for fees, airport, et cetera. That's a third bucket. And so then when we're just looking at platform and driver, that is what we calculate. And that's what researchers, by and large, James Parrott, Len, many others that have written books on this subject, that's how they calculate it as well. Because it's, the gross net revenue argument, they've made that argument to the SEC. And when they file their annual reports, they do call themselves a agent and not a principal. And they're hiring, drivers as independent contractors, right? So they're saying they operate as an agent taking commission. And so that's their argument. And, even though we disagree in terms of how we describe it, that's a valid argument. And that's why we included that fully in the story. But yeah, that's why, when we look at take rate, and you see the trend line going up and up and up over time, especially since the IPO. It sort of is what it is, right? You can't really, you can sort of try to parse out or take away one element of it, but at the end of the day, it's how much the driver receives of each fare is sort of what we're looking at closely, and that is trending downwards as a percentage.
Yeah, our community agrees 100%. Take rate is you pay 50, I make 20, you took 60. That's it, 60%. That's it. That's what I know. That's as simple as math, but then we can talk about that forever with Uber.
Right.
A quick question comes to mind when it comes to commercial insurance rates. You said you ordered all these hundreds of thousands of trips, right? To look into data, to gather data. Did you, because we're going to have a segment right after yours, did you see a drastic difference on the identical length and duration trips in commercial insurance rates?
It's a very good question. And, you'll probably get to this with Len's Syracuse example, which I think is sort of cool. Same guy doing
coming up
100 rides, the same route. So virtually, remember, we're looking at offers. We're not actually executing or taking trips, right? But in the in-person testing, we were. We try to control for as much as we can, but Uber and Lyft do note, trip duration and distance. That said, routes were almost identical in every case in terms of, distance and duration. One, and I'm happy to disclose this, I don't think this is an issue. After publication, we didn't provide them personally identifiable information of our volunteers. For many different reasons, but the core one is it's to protect their privacy. That's part of the agreement when they work with us and volunteer their time to help us with these participatory research studies. And same thing with drivers. And in fact, with drivers, I'm very conscious of deactivation and want that to happen. And we worked closely with drivers. Union in Oregon to be as fair as we possibly could be and disclose who we're working with, et cetera. But we did not disclose the identities, the phone numbers or the accounts to Uber and Lyft when we shared our data with them.
Yeah.
And publicly, when we posted all of our data on GitHub, where it lives now, we don't post that information. And I think that's, common practice actually in journalism. But the company Uber was able to reverse engineer all of that data using what I presume to be God view, and we're able to re-identify everyone, and we're able to point to 3 specific examples of user error, aside from all the other user errors we excluded, in terms of inputting the wrong address, or I think in one case they had a reserve trip, Uber reserve, as opposed to sort of a base trip, or tradition, a normal Uber trip, not a scheduled one. All that's to say, we actually had to exclude those after publication, so we excluded those, and we put a note at the bottom of the story. But they were able to do that without our consent.
Yeah, they have 33,000 people there, and they're all doing something. I don't know. I mean, look, they have brilliant people obviously working there, and I'm not going to question that. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
But our problem, look, Derek, our problem is fairness, right? I mean, look, I'm a capitalist. I was on Wall Street for 30 years as a trader. Money talks, BS walks. Okay, I understand, but then the fairness has to come into play at some point. I'm not a vulture capitalist. Okay, I'm just a fair capitalist. You just got to be fair here. And I think the drivers are getting shafted, bottom line, and I think the riders are getting shafted. Both sides are getting shafted. They're burning the candle on both ends. Well, we did it on the driver side. You guys did it on the on the rider side. It's a very dangerous thing to burn the candle on both ends. The candle is not going to go too far. And so, I can talk to you all day long, and we'll have you back again, I'm sure. But is there anything that you want to tell us in closing?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for having me. I mean, the only thing I'd add, and just stepping up back like 30,000-foot view, companies obviously, can participate, in a digital marketplace, and the marketplace sort of works itself out in terms of supply, demand, and pricing, and all of that. I think when we talk to both riders and drivers, it's the lack of transparency that they have the most trouble with.
Yeah.
When we talk to them, and again, this is not us Consumer Reports saying it, this is when we speak to every volunteer and every driver we talk to, they say the same thing. If we knew exactly what went into this, if we knew all of the attributes that went into personalized promotions and discounts, if we knew everything that went into the type of signals they're using, whether that's behavior or context or account history, ride history, etc. We see that in patents. That bears it out. We actually cited a lot of those, but I think for a lot of people, just understanding that or knowing that more, I think would put them at ease, or at least give them more information in which to operate in.
Yeah, it's a price of convenience that we pay as a consumer, right? And most of us don't have an idea how complicated this is in the back end. You push a button, something shows up, car shows up, your dog walker shows up, your food shows up, whatever shows up. But then there's work that gets done. And these companies being in the middle, I mean, it's pretty obvious their take rates have gone through the roof over the last 5-6 years. And, look, I'm not against them making money, obviously, but then don't rip me off, Uber. That's my message. So, and Derek, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. And if you do any further testing about anything, you know where to find me. So
thank you both. Really appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Thank you, Derek. All right. So that is Derek from Consumer Reports. And if you don't know the Consumer Reports report talking about Uber and Lyft pricing, go to anything and type in Uber, Lyft pricing, Consumer Reports on Google, and you'll get pretty much every station in the entire US that brought that up.
I agree.
So, yeah.
I agree.
Good interview. Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, this thing went so viral. I mean, this is something you and I would talk about this a lot, right?
Yep.
So, and the shaving that we call it now, this is the stuff that they do, and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff today.
Yeah.
Uber.
Well,
can you guys put me out of business? Stop doing the shady shit so we can go have a long ass vacation. You know what I mean?
That'd be nice. Sail off into the sunset.
Yeah, man. I am totally for it. I'm totally for it.
I know it'd be nice to just be able to do that, but
It'd be nice me just
it
wake
doesn't.
up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, trade my stocks, make some money, just not worry about 10,000 emails I'm going to get from drivers who just got deactivated. I'm like, bro, I'm doing it. I'm willing to do
Yep.
it. But then Uber,
Now,
it's all up to you. Just stop the shenanigans. We're gone.
so when you guys were talking, there were two things that came to mind. Some of the things that he was discussing. The first one was how he was talking about more and more promos, or what we would consider promos, are showing versus historical pricing. So
Sure.
you open up the app today right now. You type in the address where you want to go and being picked up, and you price out a ride. You just want to see what it might be, what the passenger might have paid if you're a driver who's driving that particular person. You want to know maybe what are they actually paying. Well, when they show that historic price or promo regular price versus the price that you're going to pay for it, to me, this could almost go double edged. Like, oh, we're giving you a discount. Like, oh, that's awesome. That's nice. But it can also be a subtle hint that the regular price is, $20 more or whatever it might be. And slowly it'll start creeping up to that price. So the regular price that they're showing that's crossed out is already too high. That's like the big ask. You know how like Trump with the big ask, and then, you walk it back when it comes to art of the deal. Well, it's a similar thing like that. They're trying to go with the big ask by saying, hey, we're going to give you this ride up here. That's the regular price. But then we're actually going to come in down here where it's much cheaper. So it feels like you're getting a discount. So it's all nice and warm and gooey inside. So it's like if you ever watch Tommy Boy, oh, I feel so good, like the chicken wing part. But then you go in, what's to stop them to say, hey, this is the normal behavior, where now we're going to start creeping those prices up, because you see, like, the trip you do, maybe it's $17 at the discount, the quote unquote discount rate, then it's $26 regular. So then all of a sudden tomorrow you go in, oh, now it's $18. Oh, now it's $19, $20. And then they're naturally putting it in there where they could do that.
Yeah,
That,
I mean, but
I think is,
you know this, and I know this, right? The highest paid people at Uber are behavioral scientists and data scientists and things like that. Uber is built on data, bro. Okay. And our good friend Len Sherman, Professor Sherman, says what? Asymmetric information advantage. They have so much information on every single driver, and they have so much information on every single rider. That's how they make the money. And they know you need the ride, and they know how to do it. And again, I am not against it. I am not against them making money, right? But at some point, somebody has to push back. And anyway, so.
And then the other thing. So if Uber's saying, hey, we do our pricing down to the second, and I can understand that. Like, all of a sudden 12 people open up their phones, and then the algorithm's saying, okay, we need to prioritize. There's people who are opening the phones. We have an X amount of open and order rate. That they already know that. They're saying 12 people open their phones, 60% are going to order, is what the algorithm tells it. So no matter how it works, they're going to say, oh, the algorithm needs to account for this. So let's say second one starts, then second 2, 3, 4. So you have these 12 people opening up and ordering at different times. You have, 30 people that are doing this for the test. What I'd be interested to know is if you could get it down to the timing of when they were actually ordered and placed, like, Sally was the first person who got it through. Joe was like the 18th person who got it through. And then everybody in between where you're going. When it comes down to the people who are in later, you would expect those pricing to be higher because of the temporary algorithmic changes when it comes to dynamic pricing. So, but my question would be is, what happens if John, who's number 18, was actually one of the better rides in terms of costs? You know what I mean? That would kind of throw that out the window of them saying, oh, well, so I would love to know if they were able to act pretty much get down to time by the second. I know that would be extremely hard to do. I mean, you literally have to time code everything in order to find out who's ordering. The phone's got to be on the table right there and figuring it out.
Well, Uber knows that. Uber knows that.
What I'm saying is, like, for the test that they did, with
Yeah.
all the different people. If you can actually put it to a time and say, well, no matter where you were in the queue of actually ordering the ride and getting that price,
Well,
we were seeing people at the low end, in the middle, at the high end, and then later they were going back down to the low end. It was like everybody in between. That where Uber would come out and say, hey, it's dynamic pricing, it's shifting all the time. Well, you would think,
Uber.
yeah, but I mean, hold on,
Okay,
let me finish. You would think that the first few people that would order the ride would be relatively the same, while the last few people who went through to order that ride and price it out would actually be the ones who would be substantially higher. You would follow a curve between the amount of people of the time they opened their phone when they got the order through, according to Uber's system, in order for Uber to come back and actually say, yeah, that would be the case. That I would say, okay, that seems relevant. But if you have, 30 people who are going in and doing this test, and the first two people have, a mid-range price, then the next few people have a real low price, then you have, the next couple of people who have a higher price, and then it just kind of fluctuates all over the place for all those 30 people. If you put it into timing, then it would kind of blow that out of the water, whatever Uber is saying. Do you follow what I'm saying?
No, but as Derek said, they offered the Consumer Reports to do the test with them, right?
Yeah, but how easy is it for somebody in the back end to be like,
no, let's do this. I'm willing to do the test with you, right? So what we'll do is we'll just go into your war room, and then we'll just look at the algo, how the algo is like kind of, okay, well, this trip came in first, and then 2 seconds later it came in, this trip, exact same trip. And then we can see that on their computers, right? We'll be the ones that are ordering the trips, and then Uber says, see, Serge, it's 2 seconds difference, same direct, same distance, same duration, but there's a 42% difference between pricing. I'm going like, huh? So yeah, we can do that test with you guys, Uber. I mean, hey, we can fly to wherever you guys want us to fly, and then look at your you get that algo a little bit. Like, how does it do? How does it differ the pricing 42% from high to low for the exact same trip at the exact same time? I mean, like, we would like to know that, but that's not going to happen anyway. So
hold on, this just in. I got something special. There is. I have the code in real time. Hold on. Let me find it. There it is. I have the code in real time.
Oh,
this is the code in real time.
That's the code in real time.
You are seeing the Uber code in real time, guys. This is legit. This is amazing. Holy crap. Look at that. I can see every price discrepancy on this map right now.
There's the trip I ordered. I just got ripped off by $23.
We have the code.
Anyway, but no, man, you know what? No, these are good things to do. And, 4 years ago, none of this was going on. You know what I mean? They were just running the show, bro. But now, last 4 years, I think it's been pretty interesting that, we like digging deep. So this insurance thing is going to be the next big one, Chris. So,
oh, for sure.
We're going to talk about that segue into our first,
which is exactly what we're going to be talking about right now. And so Len Sherman, he has been a guest of the show, and I'm assuming probably coming on very soon because he just put this out. So that'll be interesting to hear what he has to say. But he analyzed 120 Uber reserve trips completed by one driver between Ithaca and an airport in Syracuse over 2 years.
You can guess who that is, right?
I know exactly who it is just by that alone. I mean, but I'm not going to say his name. If he wants to announce himself, he's more than welcome to. But I don't know if he wants to or not.
Yes,
that's his call if he's in chat right now or not. But either way, so they analyzed these trips, and it's 2 year periods. So this isn't like a short thing. This is one driver between these reserve trips that were pretty much going around the same. So it was a very, very similar trip. And noticing some very strange things happening when it comes to Uber's insurance and operational fees. When it comes to how wildly and how much they can vary for the same trip. You don't think it would be wildly variable, but I wonder why.
It was, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
yeah. And Uber said, on the next screenshot, so Len Sherman, you all know, driver's best friend, academic professor at Columbia Business School. We love him. I'm pretty sure we'll have him on shortly. And so the trips were similar in several ways. Each was driven by the same driver in the same Tesla Model Y, same route along the freeway, covered nearly identical distances, and began and ended at similar locations. Okay. And then across roughly 60 mile trips, Uber's reported commercial auto insurance and operational charge ranged, wildly ranged from, this is the same exact 60-mile trip, folks, from $13.75, Chris, to $50. And I think 50 is the max now, right? 50
for now.
Yeah, for now, until they raise that cap. Or you know what? They should just get rid of the cap. I mean, if you're going to make money, just make money, bro. And so Len said to Business Insider, to Alex Bitter, our good friend, when you have identical trips by the same driver, the same car, and the same route, in the same distance, there should not be much higher variation in that you say your commercial insurance costs are, Sherman told Business Insider. I don't know. I agree. Now, Uber can say, there's snow on the road, and there's this and that, there's sunshine, and that's why it's $13.75 versus $50. Uber can say these things. I'm pretty sure they do.
I can understand that part. The thing, and then the other one would be over 2 years. I mean, you would assume that on day one, you would be at a lower rate than, day 100, 640, just because of, we've all seen how much insurance has risen over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. So you should see, again, some sort of curve that kind of coincides with that. I'd be interested to see, though, the actual breakdown from day one all the way to 2 years later on, the plot points of where they are, if they're going up and down and up and down. Compare that to the seasonality. Yes, of course. And then, the other side is, are you seeing a curve because of day one to end of 2 years?
Yeah. Well, but as you know, the driver that we're talking about here has, he's Mr. Spreadsheet, and he has all that stuff in there. We can go more into detail when we have Len back on the program again. Uber spokesperson said the fee can vary due to multiple factors, Chris. Okay.
Oh, yes. I can.
Including the trip's origin, city, and distance. Uber.
Same.
The same Uber. Once in a while, come up with some creative explanations, man.
That's the thing, is cookie cutter response. We just grab what we need to grab, drop it in, and then it auto populates. That's all it does. They don't
Len is saying it's the same duration, same distance, the same drivers, same car, same everything. And Uber says origin, city, and distance. Uber, are you reading this shit?
Again,
duration, time of day, and weather. Okay. And it's included in the price you see Uber at before requesting a ride, the spokesperson said. The next one, though, Chris. Now look at this one that they say, right? Okay, look at this last paragraph, right? This last paragraph kills it. Uber says in the breakdown that the insurance and operational fee is an estimate and does not reflect insurance expenses incurred on individual trips, but goes toward overall insurance and operational expenses. Is this, are they admitting exactly what we're saying here?
Yeah. So that means that they're saying, hey, we're going to price this ride, and we're going to put X amount of dollars into the insurance fund for this particular. It has no bearing on what you pay for that ride or what insurance has to pay, because the reality is the amount of rides that are coming in. Do you actually think that they're going to get the policy, the correct actual policy for what the ride share is on that? No, because they're not paying it necessarily by per trip. They're paying it probably, over a month or so, what they're expecting and all that stuff. So I'm sure that's how they're doing it.
That's what Consumer Watchdog is saying. That's what we've been saying, right? Where is this money going? Where is this increased insurance? So now they're saying, in fact, yesterday I got 2 screenshots. We will talk about this next week. We didn't want to put it in there yet because we didn't have time. The breakdown picture that they sent you at the end of each week.
Yeah.
There's a new line item in there, Chris.
Oh. What's that? What?
I can't say.
What fee is that?
There's a new line item in there. And
Oh,
I was like,
interesting.
I asked the driver, I go, when did that start? He goes, oh, last week. I'm like, huh? I'm like, I haven't seen it before. I sent it to Len. Len hasn't responded yet. I go, look at this, Len. Is it a coincidence?
Huh.
Coincidence? I don't think so. Anyway, so good job, Len, as usual. We'll have you on in a couple of weeks, hopefully, and as schedule permits. Hold on a second. Switzerland is
won.
going to the quarterfinals. They just eliminated Colombia in penalties. They are going crazy. Switzerland, a country of 3.5 million people, is going to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Us, a country of 365 million people, got smoked yesterday. What is happening in this planet? Anyway, let's get back on the program.
Yeah. Well, going on insurance. So we talk about what's going on with Uber's insurance, and then moving on, California had a change in their insurance recently when it came to a couple of bills that had passed, basically eliminating a lot of the requirements when it came to the thresholds that they had to have. So no $1 million. It's now like $60,000 and $300,000 when it comes down to the claims and stuff like that. So they don't have to have, the larger policy, which in turn means that they can save money on insurance. So recently we said, what's going to happen? Well, David Risher came out and said, well, if we see some insurance relief, drivers are going to benefit. Okay. How are they going to benefit? He didn't get into it. We assume you're going to pay more. You're going to keep rates at the same, and you're just going to pay drivers more. Or
that's what he said. He said that.
You're going to benefit drivers by keeping the pay the same, and the rider is going to benefit because they pay less, and that means that there's going to be more take. The take rate is larger to the driver, even though not really much has changed. So, how do you mean that? Well, we got some numbers now that it's been done. Let's see what they got to say.
Yeah, well, that's the article we talked about. Remember when Uber and Lyft did a deal in California, and in exchange for possible unionization of drivers, they got a huge break on insurance rates, underinsured and uninsured motorist rates. And that's David Risher. We talked about that. I remember that segment. He said, we're going to save $200 million in insurance costs just from California. You know what I mean? And I asked that to, remember what Jeremy Bird was on? I asked that to him. I go, are you guys going to really pass on the extra 200 million or some extra earnings to the drivers? It was like, yeah, blah, 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 whatever he said, right? So, okay, that's David Risher, September 8th, 2025. He said that. He said, we're going to pay drivers more. I'm like, okay. Well, our good friends at Gridwise just came out 4 days ago. I love Gridwise data because they have tons of data, okay? They said, here it is. Insurance costs fell, Chris. Good. Obviously, they got a good deal. Should have, of course. Good. Insurance costs fell, but that does not mean drivers saw the benefit. How come? In the West, the rideshare insurance expense fell 20.6% from Q1 2025 to Q1 2026, just like David Risher said. He said that, right?
Yep.
That's 200 million. So if Lyft is saving 200 million times 4 for Uber, it's probably like $1 billion, right? So over the same period, platform fees rose 29.1%. Platform fees the take rate, by the way.
No, I know that.
Driver base pay, but look at how much more drivers made.
Yay! So for $100, we made another $1.20.
1.2%. So hold on a second. So their insurance costs went down 20.6%. Out of that, drivers got an extra 1.2%, which doesn't even keep pace with inflation. Period. And we had the Middle East bullshit, and then gas prices soared. So there goes that 1.2 plus another 5. So that's the story I'm looking at this week. So I emailed them directly, and I said, Ryan, let's look at this. Their insurance costs went down 20.6%, right? Drivers' earnings went only up 1.2%. So there is a difference of 19.4%. I'm still decent at math. Where did that 19.4% go? I
Well,
said,
platform
can you
fee.
look at rider fares and can you see if the riders' fares were lower by 19.4%, or was that just clean into their pocket? What do you think?
By what Ryan had put there, it went clean right into their pocket.
That's one of the reasons I'm buying Lyft stock, but there's more. Anyway, so drivers, there it is. You guys are making 1.6% more because they lobbied heavily and passed insurance reform. You have less protection, by the way. Now you have. I shouldn't be laughing about this. Your uninsured and underinsured motorist went down to $60,000 from $500,000. Please don't get in a crash. Okay, don't. Especially if it's not your fault, but there's not much you can do about it. But don't get in a crash. Period. With Uber and Lyft. Because you will not get anywhere. But I'm gonna ask this to Lyft because Jeremy is not there, and Jeremy is there, but he's the head of something else now, head of global expansion or whatever. There's a new sheriff in town at Lyft, which I met a couple of weeks ago, as you know. She's very, very nice to me so far, and I will ask her.
Is she coming on the show?
Maybe, I don't know.
I need a yes. I mean,
well,
David Risher's been lying. He said he was going to come on.
We just met, Chris.
Jeremy was going to be on every quarter, and he came on twice.
Yeah.
Out of 2 years.
But they've done well. How about Uber? Nobody has come on from Uber.
That is true. So Lyft is a little better, but here's the So here's the reality. Did drivers benefit?
No.
Really
1.2%.
And you really didn't benefit at all because as you had said, inflation. So actually year over year, when it comes to the cost, the dollar that you actually made, you were sitting at about a negative 4% there.
Absolutely. 100%.
So your take home pay actually decreased 4%, about 4% with inflation and all that good stuff. Actually, being a rideshare driver, you're right. It's going to be a lot more now that gas has spiked so high over the last several months.
Yeah.
And it's starting to come down. We're getting a little bit of relief, but has it come down quick enough? No, it hasn't. So
for David
it never
Risher,
does.
So for David Risher, the question remains. I will send this to this when this segment is out. I will send them the video. David, what say you? Okay, your insurance rates went down 20.6%, as you would have liked, and that's part of the 200 million savings. Okay, but drivers' earnings only went up 1.2%. And once I get the confirmation from Ryan that rider fares did not go down commensurate to that 20.6%, then I am sure the money went into the pocket.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that drivers saw a little benefit when it comes year over year, but not when you factor in inflation. You lost.
Yeah,
reality is you lost. The expense fell. I'm sure that passenger payment probably went down 1.2% too. And they're like, oh, it came down. It came down a little bit. And then insurance costs came down a lot. And what happens when insurance costs come down quite a bit? Well, then their take gets to get extraordinary amount. So that was a giant, massive payday win for them. Lucky for them. And then, I love how it coincides. This Lyft 70/30 changed into the Lyft cap fee.
Brilliant.
Almost right around the same time. Brilliant. And what ended up happening was now they're taking the 30% and capping it before all these different expenses. So they can be like, oh, we could take, up to 30%. So if a passenger pays $100, we take up to 30% before we have to give anything to you as the driver.
I agree.
So
even if you have a W-2, by the way, people with benefits and stuff, adjusted to inflation, your income actually has decreased from last year to this year. Because inflation is not 2.3% as the government gaslights you and says it's at least 5 to 6% a year. But
and then as a rideshare driver, it's going to be a lot more because
much worse.
Maintenance You think gas is bad? Maintenance has
Tires?
skyrocketed so much more
Yeah,
compared to gas. So,
yeah.
yeah, when it comes down to that, those types of things are going to
Oh,
eat
yeah.
into your pocket. You might actually be down around 10%.
Yeah, I agree. Because tires, brake jobs, oil changes, I'm telling you, from 3 to 4 years ago, they all have doubled.
Yep.
Doubled. So that's
Yep.
100% in 4 years. That's 25% inflation a year. So it's not easy to be a rideshare driver, but then millions and millions are still doing it. And by the way, folks, thank you for reading the most popular article last month. It was about you all are complaining, but you're still turning the app on the next day. It was the most popular article on our blog. So please go subscribe to our blog if you want to get controversial articles like that I write. I got a lot of emails on that article. Like, yeah, Serge, I drive because I need it. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool.
Well, with that being said, if you are driving and you're not taking advantage of the days that you know it's going to be busy, then you might be missing out. So
That was the best one I got.
This driver right here, July 4th, was driving
Killed it.
online 14 hours, active 11 and a half. So pretty decent when it came to your rate right
Solid.
there. Very good. And you know,
Solid.
wow, look at that. $836.04 on one day. Congrats. That's awesome. So you made 786 pro. You got a joke of a promo, but okay. And you know, $30 in tips. So you at least grossed $836. I don't know how many miles you drove. I don't know your costs associated, but you know, at that point, I'm thinking you probably should be at least profitable.
I agree.
So,
Mr. Fenestrator, 100% I agree. But then they won't because
so the question is, how'd you guys do on the 4th?
okay, I got a bunch of these. I picked the one that was the most per. I went with per hour, Chris, per online hour. So 836 divided by 14. That's about 60, right?
Nice.
Not about that.
Do you know?
That's
obviously, this person was in California.
Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
And look at the amount of the trips.
18.
Right? Yeah, and so. But I just went with online hours, and I had a bunch of, I had a lot of 40s and 50s,
Nice.
you know, and but this took the cake. And how'd you guys do? Put it in the chat. How'd you guys do? There was one guy I saw, he said $1,250 or something.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. So if you did, hey, congrats. That's awesome. You guys grossed some pretty good money. So with that being said,
where can you make $1,250 in a single day other than trading?
Digging a ditch.
I mean, you know, so it's still viable.
Digging a ditch. You could
digging a ditch for 1,200. Are you crazy? What digging a ditch? You can dig ditches for a whole week for $1,250.
Well, if you are the dick,
unless you're an operator, you're a machine
operator. If you're the one who's digging the ditch and you're the one who's doing it, and you could make a few grand.
No, but that's a skill. You have to have yeah. But no, man.
But I mean, you could also pick up a shovel and do it too. You're just
that's what I meant.
Really work. You're gonna be really working, but yeah, you could also have something that'll make it so much easier by machine.
Well, this is why people still drive, Chris. I mean, it's still a viable thing, you know.
Yes, but the thing is, you have to go out when it is busy. Like they always say, oh, the freedom and flexibility. Yeah, it's there, sort of. The thing is, you could go online any single time you want. Any single second of the day, you could go online. 5 seconds later, you could go offline. 5 hours later, 15 hours later, you could go offline. It doesn't matter how you do it. But the thing that does matter is when are rides going to be coming in? If you're going online during the times where there is no business, you're not making any money. You're going to lose money because you're probably driving to different areas aimlessly. You're probably wasting your time and money and everything. If you just changed when you were able to go out or when you are going out, you could have a completely different look on what your income is coming to. So, yeah, you got to be much more aware of when things are busy versus not. So, I mean, look, hey, if you want to go out and do parties and if you want to do certain things, hey, good job.
That's $80.
You got to go out and do. Yeah, if you want to go out and do parties, if you want to go out, you've got family or whatever. I get that. That's understandable. There's no problem there. What I'm saying is though, that's the opportunity. is these busier times when there are a lot of things going on. That's why we said, hey, get ready for the 4th. There's a lot going on. There's people that are traveling. There's people that are going to and from the airports during these days. There's people that are going to and from parties and fireworks shows and everything in between, what's going on. So if you take advantage of that, that's when you can see a little bit of money coming in that can help offset some of maybe the crap that you've been having to deal with the last few months because it's been slow, or, whatever might be down, or, you're seeing a negative 5% gross year over year. So there's a lot of things there when it comes down to it.
Yeah, but it's still a viable business, bro. Okay, 8
Oh, yeah.
million, 10 million people or whatever it said, Uber said, are doing it around the globe.
Yep.
Minimum. If you include delivery, DoorDash, and Shipped, and Flex, and Spark, and all that stuff, because some people don't do rideshare only. Look, man, there's 10, 12 million people who do gig work solely just for their own, for their livelihood in this country. That's a huge number. And, it's still, I mean, seriously, bro, like you could be sitting on your toilet at 3 a.m, turn an app on, and then grab a trip to an airport for a red eye or some shit. In what world are we talking about here? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
No, it's still viable. You just got to work it the way you want to work it, kind of figure it out. But most drivers don't do that. They just kind of go, I take. I'm like,
all right. Well,
$70 an hour for a mat.
Hell yeah. That's a little bit.
Uber
That's a little better than
more. Yeah, but Matt. I know you very well now, so you don't. I know you don't care about what Uber made. I honestly don't give a shit about what Uber made, bro. Like, why should I care about what Uber made? Uber made whatever they made.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on, and we got a little giveaway for you right now. So we do have a 4K camera, VFO, 3-channel dash camera coming your way if you are the lucky winner. And what you have to do is just what you have to do is just hashtag SMTMC. That's all you got to do. Put it in the chat right now, and of course, do it exactly the same way what you see it, capital.
All
and of course, it's only for the live stream only. So I know nobody's going to watch this part when it comes to the clip that we may clip for this. But no, you can't win if you're in. You'd be surprised how many people put in the chat on the clip when we post it. They'll put in hashtag SMTMC. It's like, you're not going to win. And that's why it says during live show only. But you get everything there too. So you get all the bells and whistles. You get the hardware kit and the different things that they have, the remote, all that good stuff. So
it's a nice one, bro.
Yeah.
Shit.
I have a VFO somewhere.
Really?
Yeah. I give it to my mom though.
Yeah, it's a nice one, folks. And if you do have whatever. I was going to say, if you have already a dash cam, don't be a pig. Let someone get it that doesn't have a dash cam. And if you happen to win, okay, email me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. Email me your physical address to Sergio@therideshareguy.com so you can get it. Physical address. Okay.
All right. And we will do the giveaway after we do this clip, this next one. So we're going to be talking about what happens when you accept a ride and then it just disappears.
Okay. I picked one. I picked I favorited one of the comments. Did you see that one? He got like 25 rides. They disappeared, and then they all came back at a lower price. It's very normal. But this is happening quite often, it looks like. And I did send this to Lyft, and the new person in charge said, in fact, there were 2 other people that I don't even know at Lyft got back to me saying, we're looking into this. The boss said, look into it. I'm like, then fucking look into it. Like, what do you want me to say? There you go. I received 13 trips almost back to back, and all disappeared. And now, what was it? Was it like did you accept them? I mean, you need more context here. Were they on Trip Radar? I mean, what were they? Or was it Lyft?
Was it on Uber? Was it on Lyft?
I mean, you got to give us some juice here, man. There's not much there.
Yeah, you got to let us know. And then obviously, if you guys are seeing things disappear, put on the platform what it is, what you're seeing, and how often, frequently it's happening, things like that. But getting into this one, if you want to read that.
Okay, so hi, Sergio. Sorry for the long message. This happened to me, which was very strange, and I don't know if it happened to other drivers to conclude if something shitty that Lyft has been doing lately. I got this ride request while I was on the highway, of course, and And the ride was in the direction I was headed. Great. And carried a 20% turbo bonus. Great. And another area. And okay, cool. So I was like, this ride is perfect. And I accepted it. And I was already on the highway headed in that direction. The pickup was 15 minutes from me. Okay, no problem. You have already a passenger in the car getting paid. And then your next ride is ready to take you home. I drove towards the pin for about 5 minutes. And there's another 10 minutes left until the pickup. And the ride just disappeared from my Lyft app. Poof. Like the Mission Impossible, old Mission Impossible, that tape just disintegrates itself. I love that shit, right? So Lyft app, no cancellation fee was paid. Of course, no cancellation fee is going to be paid. Why would you get paid? I'm being facetious. And craziest thing, there is no record from my Lyft app of the tip ever existing, Chris. Poof. Completely gone. Usually even when this says rider canceled or Lyft canceled, when they're doing the switcheroo, right? There's a record of the trip that was canceled. This one completely disappeared.
Not always. And I'll tell you the times. I'll tell you the times.
Well, you have to tell that to the boss at Lyft.
If you are, I don't know if it's on both platforms. I know it's on one. If you are on a trip and you accept another trip coming in,
yes,
while you are still on the trip,
yes,
if that person cancels while you are on the trip,
yes,
that does not, and this is Uber I'm talking about, that does not qualify you for a cancellation fee. No matter how
I'm
much
not talking about cancellation fee. I'm talking about the disappearing.
And the ride disappears. You won't see it in your app. I don't know if they've changed it because I don't accept rides.
That's that's not good. That's not good. That should not be like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
we're gonna fix that.
I don't know. That was how it used to be. I don't know because, like I said, I turn off and stop new requests all the time, so I don't get requests until I'm done with the rides.
No, I get that. Yeah,
but if anybody notices that, that's how it used to be. That's how it was up until not that long ago. So
look at this one. That's the old algorithm pre-David Risher coming back. Yeah, but you there has to be a record of that trip because you accepted the trip. You didn't decline it. You didn't let it ping through. You accepted the damn thing. You clicked accept. Come on now. There is a record of me accepting somewhere. Anyway, so it continues. When a trip was canceled, and even I don't even make a cancellation fee, you can still see the ride on your ride history for the day. I agree. But this one just completely disappeared. And it's not in any ride history as if I ever had this trip. I wonder if they found the driver closer to the pin. Of course they did. And they took it away from you, gave it to them because the rider is going to wait less. On my way to pick up, and the driver bonus, they didn't want to pay you the bonus. Of course they don't want to pay you the bonus. And look at that trip. It's $53 per active hour. Why would they want to pay you that kind of money? Didn't have to drive 13 miles. So therefore, they are able to find another driver that could do it for less than half what they offered me. And they gave them the ride instead. Now, this is hyperbole. I don't know if that happened, but most likely that's what happened.
I was going to say
that's exactly what happened. That's why it magically disappeared from my app with no trail. Sure. So Lyft knows about this, by the way. We're going to fix this. This is bullshit, Lyft. Like, I understand canceled, switching drivers, switcheroo, all that good shit. There has to be a record of it. Because, I mean, come on now.
There is a record of it. This driver's at least got the offer screen.
Well,
but it doesn't show that you've accepted it. So
he's our viewer because he screenshots everything. Although that may be coming to an end too, by the way. They may be putting us out of business, Chris, with this new thing. I don't have any proof of that, but I don't think something far-fetched from these rideshare companies. It looks like something they would actually do. I attached a screenshot of the ride offer. I accept it. There you go. So Lyft knows about this, and hopefully we'll get an answer and saying, "Hey, Serge, thanks for sending."
One of two responses. Oh, this is an edge case, or two. We're looking into that. It was a glitch in our system, and we're working on a fix. Or we just rolled out a fix. If you notice any issues, let us know again. Have everybody notified, and if they notice anything, let us know, and we'll take a look further.
That's what they probably will say. I bet the rider switch. Okay, yeah, and then the switch to another driver. No, he drove for 5 minutes already.
It probably the thing is, it probably was where the Lyft did the Lyft switcheroo, and there was probably some code that was broke. again,
Well, we're gonna fix
when you're doing all of these, you're continually changing the app, you're continually testing the app, you're continually updating the app.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have we seen, just in the last couple of years, there is a wrong package that gets delivered and
Yeah.
half of the internet goes down. You can't access literally half of the internet from one freaking thing. And it affects everything because it's so reliant on that. So, when these glitches happen, as long as it's a glitch, fine. That is what it is. Shit happens. Move on. Don't
No,
worry
no,
about it.
I'm
Down the road, I mean, if this is something where it was intentional, that's a different story. But if it's a glitch, it's it's just making you aware of these things. So if you're trying to figure out everything, hopefully it will go. They'll be able to go back in the systems, figure everything out, and then put those back if you're trying to keep track of that stuff. But with that being said, my 2 cents is I think it's probably some sort of code glitch that happened, and it was probably because of the switcheroo. So that's what I'm thinking.
I say it all the time. 2 million trips a day does Lyft a day. 2.5 million a day. Uber does 1.5 million trips every hour. Okay, shit happens. I'm really, really surprised that shit works as well as it does, Chris. It really, seriously, it's massive, right? Unbelievable. But what we're trying to do here is that, so it's good that the reception was good. I sent it to the new boss, and the new boss put in charge 2 people that sent Serge. The screenshot that you sent wasn't in the email. I'm like, of course it wasn't in the email. What are you talking about? A long story short, hopefully they'll fix it. Hopefully they'll come back and say, yeah. And hopefully, you guys will pay the driver $5 for his misery. Okay.
Yeah. Or at least something.
Yeah.
Especially being on the highway. There's no way to get off or anything like that. And
man,
all that jazz. So
come on, man. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to our giveaway right now, and give me 1 second so I can share the screen. Don't worry, it's not going to be the code.
Drum roll. Okay, the first person that says fixed, I'm on a blog.
Well, don't fix it, Sergio.
I ain't touching shit. I'm just gonna write the name of the person that won.
All right. Well, for everybody who entered, good luck. And we will see who is our winner of the VFO 3-channel or 3-channel dash camera. DeVoe.
He's won before, bro.
Didn't DeVoe win before?
Oh, for sure. This guy wins all the time. Oh, see? Oh, no, he goes. Okay, we do it again. You won.
Wait,
already.
hold on. DeVoe, do you want the camera or are we doing it again? I think it's got to be up to DeVoe.
Right there. Come on,
he might be like, oh, no, I don't know.
Oh, no, I won? Or, oh, no, I won again.
I don't know. DeVoe, you got to let us know.
No to what?
Wait, no to what?
No, you don't want it? What?
Oh, it's not rigged. Okay, it's not rigged.
Okay, so you want the camera?
So they want the camera. Yes, he wants it. Okay, perfect.
He's gonna put it on eBay, bro. He's gonna put it on eBay. I swear to fucking God. God damn it.
Hey, okay. DeVoe, congrats. Awesome. Make sure you email Sergio, sergio@therideshareguy.com with your address, so then we can get it sent to you.
At DeVoe 4096. Okay, DeVoe.
And you know what? Hey, to everybody watching, good job, because it pays to be watching, because we do these giveaways to live. We don't put them on the show and a week later we pick the winner or something like that. So congrats there. And yeah.
All right, email awesome. Sergio@therideshareguy.com. All right, Chris. We may be getting put out of commission, Chris.
You know what? I don't think so. No? I don't think so, because there's always ways around it, Uber. You think you're so slick, but it ain't gonna happen.
The person that sent me this is in the chat. I know him. And Uber blocking screenshots. Are you guys running? Okay, so this is like a huge negative for my business, Chris. Huge. So hey, Sergio. Okay, I have 2 separate but related issues from this past weekend. This email is the first issue. Uber blocking certain screenshots. Okay, this is very important to me personally. So I do a lot for you guys. I need to know if Uber is blocking screenshots, period. Apple, Android, whatever the kind of...
No, not on Apple. I just took
Well,
a
maybe,
screenshot.
okay. The person that sent me this is here. Do you have an Apple or do you have
No, they have Android.
have an Android? Okay.
You can
Uber
tell
blocking
just by
certain
the.
screenshots. Recently, Uber changed the UI, its user interface, for wait timer and cancellation screens. I don't know if this is something they're testing in my market or if it's across the board change. In any case, whatever they're doing, those screens don't screenshot. What? This went to Uber already, by the way. They just turn out the blank. How are they doing that, Chris? They just turn out a blank
It's probably the
black
same
screen.
tech. It's probably the same tech that Netflix uses. So it goes
What?
to the screen, and then when you take a picture of it, it goes black.
What?
It's the exact
Okay.
same thing that Netflix does.
So I was anticipating. Look at this, the way the driver goes through here. I was anticipating getting screwed on a cancellation fee, so I literally had to take a photo with my other phone, so which is right there. So he took a picture of a blank screen, but then it wasn't blank because the screenshot came out blank because it was blocked by Uber. Hold on a second.
Hold on, I have to update the app.
He's here. He's here. Android is not all screens. It's a new way Uber is displaying timer cancellation fee stuff. Those screenshots just turn up blank. What? Bro, in what world, Uber? Cancellation fee? You're going to skimp on cancellation fees now? Anyway, and then this saga continues on the second email. And this driver does a fantastic job of eliminating 90% of my work. So I just have to show it. This is issue number 2. Uber is still shaving no-show cancellation fees. This is with the new UI stuff that one screenshot. I literally had to take a photo with my other phone, okay? Normally, I just blow off those extra no-show fees offers because you know how you say, Uber says, oh, if you wait an extra 2 minutes, you're going to get this much more. I'm like, don't ever wait, people. Don't do that. I just blow off those extra no-show offers because to date, I've never, capital never, yet been paid correctly for them. In this case, I didn't really want the no-show cancellation. I wanted the trip. It was $22.85 for 4.1 miles. Sorry, I would have wanted the trip too. And wait time was paying 44 cents a minute. Okay, that's reasonable. The pickup time in miles was sunk cost at this point. I was hoping the guy would show up, but he didn't. And here's the math. Offer $5.95, no show fee. Extra $154. Total is $7.48. Uber paid him $2.73. No, $4.76. They shaved $2.73 out of the $7.49 that they should have paid. I'm hoping that you did not go and spend 2 hours at Black Hole Uber support to get that $2.73, but I know you well enough that you're too smart to do that. So Uber is shaving that. So this went to Uber as well. So one went to Lyft, one went to Uber, and hopefully we fix this screenshot problem.
Yeah. See, here's the problem too. Like,
that's a good point. Uber asked for screenshots. Yeah, I don't have a screenshot because your app won't let me take a fucking screenshot.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Is like that's the problem because if you have some
what
sort
is
of
happening,
issue,
man?
And they're like, "Hey, we need a screenshot." How are you going to get a screenshot?
Bro.
I mean, there's workarounds on how to get it, but you know, first
off,
I'm not going to say how to do it because no, I know, but what I'm saying is there's workarounds where you can do that, where you can get beyond those screenshot the screen crap. But I can't say that because I don't want to give Uber any extra knowledge, even though I'm sure they probably know about those. But it's still it's still very hard to circumvent if that's what they're trying to do. Either way, I think this is stupid because you know you have to take screenshots of things if there's potential issues or anything. Plus, you're an independent contractor. You're supposed to be able to do different things that you need to take for records for yourself. You need solid records. What?
No, you continue. I'm reading the comments.
Oh, so yeah, that's a problem. And then, yeah, I mean, this whole thing with the no-show cancellation, that's insane.
Yeah, but that's Chris. That's like again, here we go again. $2.73 here, $2.45 there. I won't let you screenshot it because if I ask you for proof through Black Hole Uber support, you don't have a screenshot. Bruh. Didn't I just say with Derek that you guys can put us out of business by not playing this bullshit game? Just stop playing the bullshit game.
Well,
I mean,
you know
seriously,
what?
Man.
Honestly, I think they like watching us. I think they like They're like,
Well,
oh, Sergio and Chris are coming on. How are they going to screw us today?
bro.
Oh, crap. We didn't realize that was happening.
So pity, bro. You're a $200 billion company. So pity for $2.
Well, that's why they're getting. Why else do you think that the board the shareholders are suing them? Profits over people.
Doesn't make fucking sense, man.
And that just tells you everything. If they're literally suing them because of profits over people, and safety, then that tells you everything you need to know about the company. That they're going to screw you for every goddamn penny they can get, and they're going to do it with a smile on their face, and they're going to say, "Hey, it's great because we have all this reserve now, and how we got it, don't worry about that."
Well, $2 times, I don't know, million cancellations a day, 500,000 cancellations a day. That's well, how much is that? That's
quite a bit.
$2 million a day. That's 60 million a month. Holy shit! Is it? That's $700 million a year.
Woo!
Did I do that right? $2 times 1 million a day, which is probable. 2 million, 60 million. Oh my God! Uber. What the F?
Well, we got to make sure our stock price.
Talk about that. You know who you are. We're going to talk about this one.
We got to make sure our stock price goes back up.
No,
not go down like it's been.
Come on, man.
74.30.
This is just too much. Too much. Okay, you guys know by now. We know each other by now. You guys know we'll catch this. You guys know we're not sleeping. You guys know we know math. Why? Can we just get along? Like have a drink together or something, as opposed to doing this kind of garbage.
Right. Why can't we all just get along, work together? It's supposed to be a rising tide lifts all boats.
Nope.
Not just my boat and I take all the water.
Wow.
I'm going to sue you I'm going to take you for $100 million.
Stupid, bro. Seriously stupid.
Oh. Well, it keeps us gainfully employed for a while.
For now, at least, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Sergio, let's talk. Why'd you buy Lyft stock?
I bought it last week. I said it last week. Full transparency. Don't fucking email me about this. Oh, you're buying the stock of the enemy. No. If you can beat him, you join him kind of a situation. Full transparency. I'm telling you guys. I said it last week. I paid 14.5 for it last week. So so please keep sending me these at the end of each month, folks. Thank you for the people who are sending it. You guys see that? The purple part? Not purple. The pink part. The pink part.
Lift pink.
The pink part that's consistently right around 27 and 30% now, Chris.
That we've seen, yeah. Yep.
Well, that's why I'm buying the stock. There you go. I said it. Now you can run the show. That's exactly right there. Picture's worth 1,000 words.
Well, for those who are just listening, the reason why Sergio is buying the stock is because he takes emotion out of stock trading, which is exactly what you should do if you are trading in stocks. You should not be emotional about a company. A buddy of mine says, I won't invest in Tesla because of Elon Musk.
Bonehead.
And I said, well, then you're trading with emotion. And that is why every time you try to invest, you are down. And that's exactly what he is, because he puts emotion into it. And it's like, no, you have to look at the company, see how they're doing. And you might be pissed off at Uber. You might be pissed off at Lyft. But you know what? Damn it. If they are trying to chase every cent of profit that they can without opening themselves up to liability like Uber did, then you probably want to hitch your wagon to them, because at that point, that's when a tide lifts all boats. But so what Sergio is doing is you're reading the writing on the wall. We saw in 2022 what happened when we went from rate card to upfront fares, where they could arbitrarily change however they wanted based on whatever factors they claim that they say, and pay drivers and have riders pay whatever they want to do. And, it literally launched Uber stock from what, 20 some odd dollars up to $120 at its peak. I mean, now it's around 75, but that's because it's a different story with the AI and the autonomous vehicles. But Lyft kind of never went anywhere. It went sideways, even though they kind of did the same thing. They also skate by. But this could be their moment. This could be their 2022 Uber moment of, hey, we were only taking 14% and 14% after external expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Then they came with the Lyft fee cap and they
Mhm.
changed it. They said, oh, we're going to take 30% before everything. So of total passenger payment, which means, like I said earlier in the show, $100, Lyft can claim up to 30% of that without having to pay you anything else. And your
Mhm.
money is taken out of that up to 30% of Lyft, and then whatever the external expenses are, and then you're left over with whatever. They cap it though at 30%. So they say out of $100, we can keep up to $30 of that. And you claim whatever after external expense, blah, blah, blah. What we're seeing is 27, 26, 30%. We did see a couple that were much better, but for the most part, a lot of the screenshots that we are seeing is Lyft's take rate is going much higher
Yeah, but
than
for
the
like a
14% that they were
part-timer,
saying.
yeah.
So the question is, what are you guys seeing when it comes to Lyft's fee? Are you seeing it around that 30%? Are you seeing it much lower? What are you seeing? Because if they're going to run the algorithm to 30%, meaning they're going to have every driver sit at 30%, their 14% after expenses really takes like almost double, actually a little better than double. If they go up to 20, let's say average of 26%, they've essentially doubled because, again, shifting pre and post external expenses plays a factor into it. We already said if they just kept it at that 14%, then they would have seen a change out of about $3 on $100 if we were doing that example. But if they're going to increase it to 30% or close to 30%, now you're seeing double profit come in for
Yeah.
them, and I'm sorry, double the revenue come in for them, which is going to increase their profits. And that could be the potentiality of
So
Lyft stock increasing. And again, this is not financial advice. This is just
yes,
looking at the numbers and trying to make an informed decision based on those particular numbers. There's a lot more to look at when you are evaluating any sort of company to invest in. This is
yes,
not financial advice. This is not financial uh, um,
yeah,
anything that's going to say, hey, go buy Lyft stock. Don't do it unless you do your due diligence. And of course, there is always risk trading. You could lose money as
yep,
much as you could gain money. It's
yep,
it's a crapshoot sometimes. But if
yeah.
you read the
Okay,
numbers and
so
if you're paying attention, you
yeah,
can lower the amount of risk that is happening. I
yeah.
just got to get
Okay,
that disclaimer out of the way.
yes, you did. And this is not financial trading or investing advice. It's for information and education purposes only, and sometimes we'll entertain. I don't have any information other than what's public and what I'm seeing here. I agree with Chris 100%. This is Lyft's 2023 Uber upfront fare moment or 22 upfront fare moment. If it's not, Chris, stock will go down. If it is, different story. So before you send me hate mail saying that, oh, how can you buy their stock? I'm like, I want to make money, bro. That's about it. So I paid
Moral of the
14 and a half
story.
last week. That's it.
Yeah,
Done.
but here's the thing. Moral of the story. Take your personal issues, your emotions, everything out of it whenever you are
Yes.
trading. There is
Yes.
no reason that should be in it. You should be in a full analytical mode if you want to invest.
Yes.
And you can't be like, oh, that company sucks. Well, you know what? That company is making money. And you could be like, oh, Chevron, I would never want to invest in Chevron. Well, they're making money. And if you were invested in Chevron over the last several months, you would have made more money. So, it is what it is. But take emotion out of it. And that's the whole thing. But that's what we're seeing when it comes to this, and just relaying that information. But the other side of the coin too is if you were one of those savvy drivers who were getting like Lyft at 6%, which we've seen plenty of times, or sometimes Lyft owed money, which is always fun to see. Are you still seeing that? Are you still seeing that 6% or 8% or low threshold of what Lyft is actually able to take on the rides that you're taking? Or are you starting to see yours creep up to maybe for 13, 14, 15+% when it comes to that? Because that would also be pretty interesting to know too.
The one in the middle, Chris, is a lot of money. It's like $7,500 the passenger paid. Because if you went with just that one and before or after external expenses and stuck at 30%, right? That's a big difference. That's a huge difference for Lyft, right? And the one on the right, actually, they took more than 30%, but they paid him back $49 a month later. Do you see that fourth line item down there?
Yep.
Earnings adjustment.
Well, and that's the same thing on the middle screenshot. They got 2185.
They took so I'm like, they are taking more money on top of the 30, and then just my feeling is this is going to help Lyft. Basically, that's it. That's my feeling. Again, I could be wrong. I could be right. I'm looking at numbers. That's about it.
Yeah. And I mean, we only have really 1 month to go on. We're going to have our second month coming up with June, where these are the June ones. But send your screenshots of the Lyft fee, where it's at. Were you up? Yeah, were you up around there, or were you seeing it lower? So
I mean, what would help, Chris? What would help for me is that once you send a screenshot like this, take a screenshot of this, and then obviously you guys are drivers, like what was the take rate before, let's say 2 months ago, 3 months ago? Right? Do you feel like it's higher now, right? Because you knew what it was before. And do you feel before it was after external expenses, now it's right 30% off the top, max 30%. Doesn't mean it's going to be 30%. Sometimes it could be over 30, sometimes it can be way under 30. Most screenshots that I'm getting, Chris, are right about that 27 to 30 range. So.
Yeah. And the other thing too that they could potentially do is they could go real heavy in the first week. So we're in the first week of July right now. So they could go real heavy. You could say, oh, we're going to take 35, 40% of the fare. And then they start dropping it, week 2, and then they level off week 3 and 4 to try to get you right to that 30%. They took exactly 30% May and June. There you go. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it seems like. So what does this mean beyond, Lyft, beyond Sergio buying Lyft stock? It means you got to be savvy, because if you're not being savvy right now, they're probably going to outsmart you anyways and get you right to that 30%-ish. So is that going to be a loss of revenue on your side, or are you going to continue on, around the same revenue, and then just passenger payments are going up? We'll see what happens. But the moral of the story is it looks like they are trying to level off at that 30% or close to it, probably for all drivers, or very close to that amount of drivers.
Well, that would be ideal for Lyft.
For them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that said, let's go to the last one.
All right. So we have Uber driver earnings security review. So you think you're getting paid, and then all of a sudden payday comes around. Where's my money? Yeah. Oh, it's under review. Security review.
I haven't seen this one before at all. So sometimes I put these up because this, shit happens all the time. Okay. Yep. And they do things that I don't know it's happening, but then you guys are being my eyes and ears, or send me this. And then now I want to know from you guys if you have seen this or have run into the situation like this. So, hey, Sergio, I'm a 2-year, 3,000, 5-star retired part-time driver, and this Uber gig checks so many boxes, and retired numbers guy like me. Great. See, that's why the Uber is good for. But something's come up that little bothersome. It involves the weekly deposit in my bank account through ACH, right? So here's the background. Uber credits my bank account with an ACH deposit, obviously, every Tuesday morning. Mm-hmm. Like clockwork for the past 2 years. Okay, today I see no wallet transaction that'll transfer $448.74 that I earned last week. Instead, I see last week's earnings combined with Monday's earnings, with a note that the next transfer into my account won't be tomorrow on Tuesday as usual, but it'll be next Monday, July 13th. I'm like, okay. I never receive an ACH deposit on a Monday anyway. So I'm actually, the more I read this, Chris, the more I'm thinking, is he getting scammed? Anyway, this is that black hole Uber support told me, and then he sent me this support screenshot, which I'll show you guys in a minute. Sergio, have you ever heard of routine security review that postponed an expected weekly payment for last week's services rendered? I have not, sir. Never. Or is this nefarious move to hold my weekly payment for another week? I am not going to speculate on any of that, but thanks again for your and Chris's advocacy. I don't know. I've never seen it before. This one is brand new to me, and I've seen pretty much everything there is to see. So, hey, Steve, understand that you expected $448.74 payout on July 7th, but see, no scheduled transfer due to a routine security review. I'm here to assist you with your earning status. Your total wallet balance of $628.94. A routine security review temporarily paused your previous payout. Have you ever heard of this, Chris?
No.
Because of this hold, your funds will now transfer in next. This looks like a legit Uber message to me. This doesn't look like a scam. But why? Why Uber? What's happening? Give the people, give them his money. Give him his money. What security review? Like what? They have things that flag different things?
I have no idea.
Oh, that's a good point. But he's a retired man. What garnishment, man? Possibly no, but if it was garnishment, it would have said garnishment. It wouldn't. No,
Yeah, it would have said something. It wouldn't. I don't think it would come out with a security, saying some sort of security thing.
Well, no, Sensei, it doesn't make sense because in this case, you cannot instant pay anything. You won't give it to you.
So, yeah, sometimes. I mean, I've heard of things where the hold payments on certain things because of garnishments and stuff like that. I've never heard of anything about a security review.
I never heard of it before.
That would even temporarily, and like being a 2-year driver, you've had. I mean, if you've literally driven every week, that's over 100 times that you've been credited to your account.
Wait a minute.
What?
Okay. A similar issue with weekly auto payment. Auto ACH payment didn't happen and said next payment will be 13th. Wow. See, now a lot of people say Uber is running out of money. No.
No.
No. But that happens to that driver too.
Huh.
Glitch, Chris.
And then this person says they got me 2 years ago. They got me with a security review.
Really?
Huh.
Never heard of this shit. Did they get you, MJ Smith Group? Did they get you with a security review, or they just said you're not getting the money until next week? That's interesting.
I wonder if that's some sort of glitch that went out. The question is, did you get paid?
Bro, pay them their money, bro.
MJ, did you get paid? Because if it went out yesterday and then today.
Well, no, he said 13th. 13th, he said. 13th is coming up. Next Monday.
Well, that's next Tuesday. Or you're right. Next Monday. But
potentially. Okay.
But the thing is that's the thing though. Payments go out on Tuesday. They don't go out on Monday. So I'm wondering if this is some sort of glitch. And that's why I asked, did you actually get paid? Because it's a difference between them sending out something and then actually getting paid. Just did the instant pay instead and went through immediately. Huh.
Okay. Well,
had the security review happened to me 2 years ago.
I wonder if I should send this to Uber or not. Probably should.
I would probably send it and be like, "Hey, what is this?"
No, because if MJ Smith Group didn't say they're holding his money until July 13th too, without a security review, how many is anybody else held their money back? Anybody else? No. I mean, email me Sergio@therideshareguy.com if you guys did not get paid the ACH payment this morning, Tuesday morning. And Uber says you're going to get it next Monday, and on the 13th, which is next Monday, which is odd. Send me an email, Sergio The more emails I get, the better it is. So I can tell Uber, hey man, what's happening here? Pay them their money.
Had it about a month ago. I don't know. I wonder why. Yeah. See, I would send it to Uber and be like, what is this? Because some of these people will actually rely on that money and need that money like ASAP. Like they're planning for it. Maybe they got bills coming out this week or, different things that they have to pay for. And they're going to, I'm sorry. We're just not going to pay you this week because of some security review.
No, man.
Like, what the fuck is that shit? Like, you pay me my money, bitch.
No, but how about interest? Pay me interest.
Yeah. So
No,
yeah,
no,
I'm
no.
really curious on that. I would send it to them and be like, what is this? And how do you
All right, I'll send it to them.
justify some sort of security hold for somebody who earns money and has been earning money on the platform for 2+ years or
Yeah.
around 2 years or whatever, or however.
I don't think it has ever happened to me in 10 years, ever.
No, I've never seen that happen either. That's
Well,
why it's like,
the email is written kind of weird. It's like it's not good English, kind of.
well, how many people necessarily speak good English that are
No, but
drivers?
I'm saying first I thought maybe he's getting scammed, but then I asked him, I go, did you give him your account number and shit? He goes, no, 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 this came from
Well,
Uber. I'm
no.
like, "Oh."
See, the thing is, though, the reason why I wouldn't think it was a scam is because your money wouldn't be there. His money's there. You got a note. He just got the notification saying that instead of, or what is it? You see your earnings that are combined from last week plus Mondays, and that you have a transfer, or you have a note that transfers the account won't be tomorrow, but it's going to be next Monday. So like if it's coming through the app, that's not going to be a scam. That's directly from Uber.
That's a good point, actually. No, I don't think that's going to happen. Also, they're holding the money and then they deactivate him? No, they would have known by now.
Yeah.
No. Okay, I'll send it in. But if you guys are not getting your money, if you did not get your ACH payment today, and you don't do instant pay, which you should not do instant pay, please don't do instant pay. Pay that ridiculous amount of money to get your own money out. Don't do that. But then some people have to, I guess. So email me, Sergio@theredshareguy.com. The more emails I have, the better it is.
Yep. So wild what that's about. But I mean, like, there should be some sort of security or reason on that, or like explain it to the person, and then don't be like, oh, we're gonna hold it till next week. Be like, we're gonna get it to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, why
Like,
why next week? Like,
why does it have to be held next week? Because again, you know, I mean, luckily this person
well,
is retired and probably, I
I
don't know if
mean,
he
look,
needs the money or
it's not
not.
about
I don't
that.
know if he's got a air conditioning bill that's going to be absolutely crazy
No,
because of
no, I
electric
know.
costs,
I know.
or gas or whatever's going on, or maybe he needs some medication,
Well,
um, or whatever it might be, and you're
yeah,
holding
no, I
his
know,
money
I
like
know.
that. Come on, that's ridiculous.
Security review is the reason for them not to pay interest. That's what it is. You're holding my money.
Yeah.
You take $400, which is not that much money, let's say, but for him it could be a lot, or $600 now with 2 weeks. Multiply that times how many drivers are receiving this out of 4 or 5 million drivers. That's a lot of interest for a week. We can do math. But I mean, I'm not saying it's that. Okay, Uber, I'm not saying it's that. But what I'm
Yeah, I
saying is,
don't think so.
what is it though? Like, what happened? Like, why is the delay?
Yeah. That I don't understand. That I'm not sure, and something like that should probably be looked at beforehand or clearly communicated with somebody, because at this point you're dealing with money, um, and things like that. So
Okay, all right, we'll see.
that's my 4 cents.
All right.
Anything last, Sergio?
No, sir.
No, sir. All right. Well, any more games coming on this today, or?
No, no, but I'm actually going to be taking depression medicine starting July 19th because the World Cup ends on July 19th. My
Oh,
wife is definitely going to divorce me because I've been
before
in my
that or
office
after?
uh, after probably. I've been stuck in my office with a big screen, yelling and screaming at the TV all day long. But then now the games are much less because there's only 8 teams left out of 46 that started.
Yeah.
So then we have quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals. We have a few games left. I'm depressed already. I mean, it's the best World Cup I've ever witnessed.
Well, until the next one, and then it'll restart all again for the couple of weeks. So either way,
No, I will not buy Uber stock. No, I will not. I bought Lyft stock.
yeah, Lyft is a little bit more of a bargain at $15 a share versus 75 or 74 or whatever they're sitting at. So
about 14.5. So
there you go. You're up $1.
I mean, stock is not going down, Chris. Market's going down. Stock's not going down. You know what they say?
Yep.
Outperformance.
All right. Well, with that being said, that was the show. Hopefully, you guys got some good stuff with
We had one
Derek
more, no?
coming on. Huh?
Didn't we have one more?
No.
Oh, you took that out?
Yeah, we'll have to do that next week.
Okay, we'll do it
So,
next week.
we wanted to give you some other things, but with that being said, hopefully, with it was great with Derek coming on. If you came in late, make sure you go back, check that out. You know, a lot of different things. Hopefully, we'll have Len on very soon. If you haven't already scheduled that, Sergio, talk about what's going on with this. And and then the driver that participated in that, good job. When it comes down to that, and yes, I know they keep meticulous records of everything. So, very interesting to see how all that plays out. And congrats to DeVoe, the winner.
Look at this, Chris. My God, did you really?
Pictures, or it didn't happen? You got to go on. I guarantee you, it's on his Insta.
I
probably put
hate
it on his
you,
Insta.
Julio Aguirre. I hate you with a passion, Julio.
By that, he just means he's absolutely jealous.
FIFA, I'm so jealous. FIFA priced me out of these games.
You couldn't even go. You couldn't even go and go in. I mean, you could.
Bro, it's $2,000 plus for a ticket, bro.
Plus, well, I mean, even when the game was no, the scalper. You couldn't go on the scalper.
No, scalper is no scalper. FIFA takes a cut of everything. US game yesterday was like $4,000 a ticket, which was shit. Thank God I didn't go. But I think in Mexico, they didn't use dynamic pricing, nor they did in Canada, because World Cup was in Canada, Mexico, and the US. In the US, they used dynamic pricing. In Mexico and Canada, they didn't. And that stadium that he's talking about, 100,000 people screaming for the whole 90 minutes. Oh my God! Send me a video, please. Please send me a video.
I'm sure. Hopefully, it's on your Instagram or Facebook or wherever when you're there. Hopefully, you got to see some nice looking girls too.
Wow,
that's the big thing. That's funny. All the girls that are in the crowd watching
in those games. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna be depressed. July 19th. Maybe we take that week off, Chris.
I don't know. Well, we got next month coming off, so we'll have to go from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely be in football withdrawal. But then British Premier League starts, and it's okay. I'm okay. I'll be right back onto it.
Yep.
I know we're bullshitting now, but have you seen the Norwegian rowing chant? You must have seen that.
No.
On Instagram, on YouTube, you haven't seen it?
Oh, I usually
like days. Okay, so there's like these crazy Norwegians. They're all wearing the jerseys of Norway. There's a huge drum. They go bang bang, and then they all go woo. Woo means row in Norwegian, but then they really are like rowing, right? And then they like the Vikings are rowing, right? And so they do it. Then the pace keeps accelerating. At the end, they go nuts. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And yesterday, up Brazil's ass. Norway eliminated Brazil. There we go. It's not soccer, bro. It's football.
Hey, we're in the U.S. It's soccer now.
Football.
Soccer.
Soccer bullshit.
We got football.
Soccer, right?
We got football coming in about we got preseason in about a month.
The Viking row. Maybe you know what? We should show them the Viking row next week. We should do that for our show starting. We should change the start of the show. The
row or row?
Yeah, we should do the rowing and then just start the show that way. Just hype everybody up. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. See you guys.
And then we'll get like some crazy thing like, "Can you show me the money?"
Yeah. I think we should change the opening video now. I think it's time. It's been 3 years, so let's just change that.
Yeah.
We got. You know what? You and me. You put us through AI. We become Norwegians with like hats and fucking horns and shit and swords, right? And then on the other side you have Dara and David. We go slay them in our Viking boat.
It. The rideshare row.
While we're rowing, rideshare row.
Rideshare row.
Yeah. I'm fucking losing it.
Oh man. All right. With that being said, we'll see you guys next week. Get out there, make that money. Be safe though. And of course, Pats will never repeat.
Screw the Pats. Buffalo all the way.
Oh yeah. And the new stadium is done. Looks like a big bedpan. I want to shit in it. It looks so fucking stupid.
It's only $4 billion, bro.
2.1, close,
Oh.
but it still looks like a goddamn. It's the most expensive bedpan in the world.
A what?
It's the most expensive bedpan in the world. $2.1 billion
Bedpan? It looks like a
bedpan.
bedpan?
It looks like a damn bedpan. I'll send you a picture of it. I drive by it all the time.
Good
So-
designers, I guess.
Well, they designed it after the one in England,
Oh.
but it's different. So, yes, the Hochul Bills chant. That's what we should have when Dara comes on. We'll have Kathy Hochul in front of the Bills when they open up the stadium last week, and she starts going, "Let's go Buffalo," and nobody says anything. Everybody's like crickets. She's like, "Come on!" It's like nobody gives a
There
shit
you
about
go.
you, woman.
Danish are the first Vikings. I didn't see you guys at the World Cup. Adios. So,
Oh,
No,
them
I'm
be
kidding.
fighting words. Them be fighting words.
fighting
Woo.
word. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to
Sergio
open the
getting a
show
little
with like a row,
Feisty.
row, and then we go nuts. There you go.
Should I actually go on the rowing machine at the gym?
Yeah, you could do that if you want. That's for exercising. But you should definitely watch a couple of videos of specifically after yesterday's win over Brazil, which was huge. And they have this player. He's an animal. He's a beast. He's 6'5". He just runs like the wind. Anyway, his name is Erling Haaland. And he did the drum and the roll. All the players were sitting on the ground. It's full. The stadium is full of people in the red Norway jerseys, and they're all doing this rowing. I'm like, bro, you can't get better than that. It's just craziness. And then yesterday's U.S. game. Nobody's chanting. Nobody's saying anything. They're all sitting, bent their arms, like eating hot dogs and beer. I go, you guys need to fucking learn some chants, man. Anyway.
Let's see.
Okay.
Hold on.
I gotta go. Go Morocco.
Hold on.
Yes. Dal Maghreb. Let's go. No, actually. I have a bet on France, so maybe not. No.
All right. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up for you.
Bro, yeah, if you play that, I will go crazy here. Yesterday's Holland. Got Google yesterday's Holland.
Oh.
Row Norwegian chant
Why
or
is that on?
something. There we go. That's the one. Look at this after the game. Volume up.
Can you hear it?
Yes. Ooh. Look at this. 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 Fuck. In
They
what
got the
order,
idea,
bro? Look
man.
at
They
this
know what to
shit.
do.
That's the guy that scored the both goals, by the way. Erling Haaland. And then they go crazy. I love this shit. I can't have enough of this shit, bro.
Nice.
Unbelievable. And then you got to talk about baseball. Fuck that shit. Like
Oh, baseball.
watching
I'm sorry,
paint
it's so
dry. I might
boring.
as well watch paint dry. What,
Baseball
God.
is so boring. If you like baseball, great. I find it so boring. Even if I'm like, usually when I go to different games, like a lot of the time, a lot of them I'm like, oh, they're boring. But if I'm at a game, it's a lot more entertaining. It's a lot more fun. But baseball is so damn boring. By literally the second inning, I'm like, I got to go to the bar. I'll see ya. And I'm done. I'm checked out.
Okay, so Julio, to answer that question, I bet on Robinhood at 17 cents that France is going to win the whole thing. They're up to 38 cents.
Oh, double your money.
So double the money already. But they have a big game with Morocco. That's the quarterfinal, then semifinal, and final. France wins the whole thing. I have 1,250 contracts at 17 cents, Chris.
Ooh, doubled your money.
Well, no, it's going to go to 99 cents if they win the whole thing.
Yeah. But I'm saying right now, double your money.
Yeah, at the moment I'm not taking profits. No, I'm going for it. France is so good. But anyway, who am I having? I don't know. The bracket, one side is France and the other side Argentina on the bracket. Yeah, then France and Argentina, I guess, played the cup. Or in England looks good. They went into Mexico and beat the Mexicans, man. That's tough. So anyway, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I don't want it to end. That's it.
All right. Well, with that being said, you got about a week and a half left. So we'll see you next week. You'll be a little bit more depressed, but probably a little spicier. And then we'll go from there.
All right. Adios.
Congratulations to the Knicks. Okay. Well, congrats to the Knicks. That's the other side of the state for me.
Adios.
All right. We'll see you guys.